Chapter 1. The Empty Seat. The empty seat in the front row looked brighter than the stage lights. Mara had promised me she would be there before the doors opened. She had even sent me a picture of the blue dress she planned to wear. "Save me the best seat," she had written. I had. Now the host stood beside me backstage, holding a gold envelope. "2 minutes, Mr. Vale." "Thank you." My phone vibrated. I pulled it out so quickly that Caleb noticed. "Is that her?" he asked. I read the message twice. "Damian is having a breakdown. I can't leave him alone. Please understand." Caleb leaned closer. "What did she say?" "Nothing important. Ethan. She's with Damian." His jaw tightened. "Tonight?" "He says he needs her. He always needs her when something matters to you." I locked my phone. "Not now." Victor adjusted the metal ribbon waiting on the table. "You don't have to pretend with us." "I'm not pretending. You're crushing your phone." I loosened my grip. The host smiled at me. "Ready?" "No," I said. She laughed, thinking I was joking. The music began. My name rolled across the screen above the stage. Ethan Vale, Horizon Medal recipient. Caleb caught my arm before I stepped out. "Look at me," he said. "You designed homes that can survive storms. You can survive an empty chair." I nodded, but my chest felt hollow. I walked onto the stage while hundreds of people stood and applauded. Cameras flashed. Victor clapped from the side. Caleb raised one fist. Mara's chair remained empty. The host placed the medal around my neck. "Your work may protect thousands of families." "What inspired you?" I looked at the speech in my hand. The first line thanked Mara. I folded the paper. "My father built houses," I said. "He used to tell me a home should protect people when everything outside turns violent." After he died, I wanted to finish what he started. The audience quieted. I also learned that strong foundations matter more than beautiful walls. If the foundation fails, everything above it eventually falls. My voice almost broke on the last word. A few people applauded softly. Then I saw Caleb near the stage stairs. He was staring at his phone with a look I had never seen before. I finished my speech quickly. "Thank you for believing this design can save lives. I hope we build something worthy of that belief." The applause rose again. I searched the front row one last time, foolishly expecting her to appear. Instead, a stranger occupied the aisle, and Mara's reserved chair waited completely empty beside him. I shook hands, smiled for photographs, and walked backstage. Caleb came toward me. "What happened?" I asked. "Not here." "Tell me." Victor stepped between us and the crowd. "Use my office." We entered a small room behind the hall. Caleb shut the door and held out his phone. A photograph filled the screen. Mara stood beside Damian at a private launch party. She wore the blue dress she had shown me. One hand rested on Damian's arm. Both of them were smiling beneath a banner that read Cross Urban Futures. Behind them, a presentation screen showed a house with reinforced walls, a raised foundation, and my emergency support frame. My design. My confidential design. "That photo went live 12 minutes ago," Caleb said. I zoomed in. My project code was still visible in the corner. Victor swore under his breath. Who had access? Only me, the review committee, and Mara. Caleb watched me carefully. "Call her." I pressed her name. The phone rang once, then went silent. "She rejected it," I said. I called again. Voicemail. Victor pointed at the screen. "Take screenshots before they remove it." Caleb saved everything while I stood frozen. I remembered Mara kissing me that morning. "Tonight is yours," she had whispered. Nothing could make me miss it. My metal felt heavy against my chest. Caleb lowered his phone. "Ethan, say something." I stared at Mara's smiling face, then at the stolen design behind her. The empty seat had only humiliated me. This could destroy everything I had built. Caleb's voice dropped. "Ethan, why is Damian presenting your design?" Chapter 2. The Lies She Brought Home. Mara came home at 4:17 in the morning. I was sitting at the kitchen table with the medal beside me and Caleb's screenshot open on my laptop. She stopped when she saw me. "You're awake." "So are you." "Ethan, I can explain." "Start with the ceremony." She dropped her purse onto a chair. "Damian called me crying. He said he couldn't breathe. And the party cured him." Her face changed. "You saw the pictures." I saw you smiling beside my stolen design. It wasn't stolen. I turned the laptop toward her. Then what would you call it? She pulled out the chair across from me, but did not sit. Damian's company is collapsing. Investors were leaving. He needed something strong enough to keep them. So you gave him my work. I shared a draft. You shared a confidential design. He was going to speak to you after the launch. He presented it as his. He didn't say that. The banner had his company name. My name was nowhere. Mara rubbed both hands over her face. Can we discuss this when we're calmer? I am calm. That's worse. Why? Because when you go quiet, you stop listening. I laughed once. I spent 5 years listening. That's unfair. Is it? How many dinners did you leave because Damian called? How many weekends did he ruin? How many times did you tell me he had nobody else? He doesn't. He has you. He was my friend before he was my ex. And I was supposed to become your husband. You still are. I slid the ring box across the table. She stared at it. What is that? An answer. Don't be dramatic. The words landed harder than an apology would have. You missed the biggest night of my life, I said. You lied about why. Then you stood beside another man while he showed investors my work. And I'm being dramatic? I made one mistake. No. You made choices. Her eyes flashed. Fine. I chose to help someone who was desperate. You chose him. I came home to you. After his party ended, she finally sat down. You always understand, Ethan. That's one of the reasons I love you. I looked at her and felt something inside me become still. You thought I would forgive this before you did it. She opened her mouth, then closed it. You knew I'd be hurt. I continued. You knew I'd feel humiliated. You did it anyway, because you believed I would stay. Please don't twist my words. I don't need to. She reached for my hand. I pulled it away. Did you give him the entire file? No. Mara. Only the presentation version. Did you use my computer? Her silence answered me. I stood. Go to bed. What? You're tired. Go sleep. We need to fix this. I'll handle my design. And us. I need time. She looked relieved, as if time meant another chance to wait out my anger. Okay, she whispered. We'll talk after we sleep. She kissed my cheek. I felt nothing but the cold edge of her earring. When the bedroom door closed, I opened our shared tablet. Mara had never changed the password. I copied login records, file transfers, bank statements, and messages onto 2 drives. One message from Damian read, "He'll complain, but he'll get over it. He always does." Mara had replied, "Let me handle Ethan." My hands shook, but I kept copying. A transfer caught my attention. 3 weeks earlier, Mara had sent Damian $20,000 from the account we use for our future house. The note said emergency consulting. I checked the messages beside that date. Damian had written, "Once investors arrive, Ethan's little project will save both of us." Mara answered, "Just promise nobody learns how you got it." I copied those messages twice and printed them too. At 5:12, I called Victor. He answered immediately. "I hoped you would call. Is the Greyhaven position still open?" "It is." "I'll take it." There was a pause. "Are you certain?" I looked toward the bedroom where Mara slept, certain I would still be there when she woke. "Yes." "You'll leave everything behind." "Not everything." "What are you taking?" "The proof. My notebooks. Whatever dignity I have left." Victor breathed out slowly. "The train leaves at 6. Once you accept this job, your old life is over." I looked at the engagement ring under the kitchen light. Then it's time I build a new one. Chapter 3. I left before she woke. Tonight, I packed 1 suitcase. 2 shirts, 3 pairs of trousers, my father's watch, and 6 notebooks filled with years of calculations. Everything else could stay. At 5:20, I called Nora. She answered with a sleepy voice. "Ethan? What happened? Can you drive me to Central Station? Now?" "Yes." "Are you hurt?" "Not physically." She became fully awake. "I'm coming." I opened the lease portal and removed my renewal request. Then I froze the shared business account after transferring my documented half into a separate account. I left every receipt on the table. Mara's engagement ring sat beside my letter. I read the final line again. You did not lose me in one night. You spent years teaching me how to leave. The front door opened quietly. Nora entered wearing pajamas under a long coat. She saw the suitcase. You're serious. I have 20 minutes. Where's Mara? Asleep. You're leaving without speaking to her? I spoke. She heard only what she expected. Nora noticed the ring. What did she do? I showed her the photo. Her face hardened. That's your design. Yes. And she gave it to Damian? Yes. I'll wake her. I caught Nora's wrist. No. She deserves to see you leave. She'll see the empty room. Nora looked toward the bedroom. Do you want her to chase you? The question hurt because part of me did. I want enough distance to hear my own thoughts again. That isn't an answer. It's the only one I have. We carried the suitcase downstairs. The city was dark, and the wet pavement reflected the streetlights. In Nora's car, I checked my father's watch. 5:38. He gave you that before he died, she said. He told me never to waste time proving my value to people committed to misunderstanding me. You ignored him. I thought love meant patience. Sometimes it does. And sometimes patience teaches people they can hurt you safely. Nora drove faster. My phone rang. Mara. I watched her name glow. Answer. Nora said. No. She may know you're gone. I hope she does. The call stopped, then started again. I turned off the phone. At the station, Nora hugged me so tightly that my ribs hurt. Call me when you arrive. I will. And Ethan? Yes. Don't disappear from everyone just because one person failed you. I nodded, though I was not sure I could promise. The train pulled away at 6 exactly. As buildings slid past the window, memories came without permission. Mara leaving my father's memorial dinner because Damian had lost his wallet. Mara canceling our anniversary because Damian's company pitch had failed. Mara telling me he needs support. You're strong enough to wait. I had mistaken being second for being secure. At 7:15, I turned on my phone. 32 missed calls. Mara had sent 14 messages. Where are you? Why is the ring here? Please come back. We can fix this. Damian says the launch was misunderstood. You froze the account? Ethan, answer me. Her final message read, don't punish me by disappearing. I blocked her number. Then I blocked Damian, his company, and every person likely to carry their messages. At noon, the train's news screen showed Damian standing before reporters. Cross Urban Futures is proud to reveal a revolutionary storm-safe housing system, he said. This project will change how vulnerable cities rebuild. My design rotated behind him. A reporter asked, did you create it yourself? Damian smiled. My team and I developed it through years of private research. I nearly stood and shouted at the screen. Instead, I opened my father's notebook and wrote the date beneath his final sketch. Across the aisle, an old man asked, bad news? Old news wearing a new suit. He nodded as if he understood. Greyhaven appeared after sunset. Broken roofs stretched beside flooded streets. Blue emergency sheets covered windows. Entire families waited beside temporary shelters. Victor met me on the platform. You look terrible, he said. I feel worse. Good. Honest feelings are useful here. He took my suitcase and pointed toward the ruined city. Those people don't need your revenge. They need your work. My phone, still connected to the train network, played one final report before I shut it down. A major investment group had committed $80 million to Damian's project. Victor heard the announcement. He looked at me. That changes things. I stared at the damaged homes beyond the station. No, I said. It only makes the truth more expensive. Chapter 4. The City of Broken Homes. Greyhaven smelled like wet wood, salt, and old fear. Victor drove me through streets where broken furniture sat outside ruined homes. How many families? I asked. Almost 800 displaced. And the pilot site? 20 homes first. More if your design performs. My design is being sold somewhere else. Victor kept his eyes on the road. Then build the real one here. He stopped beside a muddy field filled with steel frames and stacked lumber. A woman in a yellow raincoat stood over 3 workers, pointing at a foundation trench. That's Elena Park, Victor said. Project manager. She hates excuses. I don't make excuses. You make sad faces. She hates those too. Elena walked toward us. You're late. My train arrived 10 minutes ago. Then you've been late for 10 minutes. Victor smiled. I'll leave you two to become friends. We won't, Elena said. She handed me a hard hat. Your plans use a raised crossbrace here. Why? To spread wind pressure across the lower frame. Show me. I just arrived, and the storm season doesn't care. I opened my suitcase on the hood of Victor's truck and pulled out a notebook. Elena studied my sketch. This is different from the design Damian Cross announced. His version is incomplete. How incomplete? Enough to fail under repeated side pressure. Her expression sharpened. Can you prove that? Not without his full plans. Then stop thinking about his plans. Prove yours works. We spent the morning walking through the site. By noon, mud covered my shoes, and my metal night felt like another life. An elderly woman watched us from beneath a damaged porch roof. She held a red metal box against her chest. Elena called to her. Mrs. Alvarez, you should be at the shelter. I hate the shelter. The roof is unsafe. So is the soup. I stepped closer. What's in the box? My husband's letters. You came back for them? I came back because this was my home. I looked at the cracked wall behind her. We'll build you another. She raised one eyebrow. You promise quickly. I designed slowly. Better answer. She allowed Elena to guide her toward the truck. Before leaving, Mrs. Alvarez touched my sleeve. Young man, don't build me something pretty. Build me something that stays. Her words followed me all afternoon. At the temporary office, a man with a recorder waited beside my desk. Elena said no reporters, I said. She says many things. He extended his hand. Jonah Reed, I'm not giving an interview. I'm not asking about your engagement. My stomach tightened. Then what do you want? Damian Cross claims his housing system passed independent testing. It didn't. How do you know? Because he launched it before the tests could exist. Jonah smiled slightly. That sounds useful. It was not a quote. Everything becomes a quote eventually. Elena entered and pointed at the door. Out. Jonah placed a printed image on my desk. It showed Damian's presentation screen. Look at the project code, he said. I already saw it. Look at the final characters. I leaned closer. My original code ended in V7. The screen displayed V7, MQ. Mara Quinn. Jonah asked. I don't know. You're a poor liar. Elena pushed him toward the door. Come back with evidence. I will. After sunset, rain hammered the metal roof. I stayed alone, rebuilding calculations from memory. Elena returned with coffee. You missed dinner. I wasn't hungry. You've said that for 3 days. It's been 1 day. You look 3 days worse. I took the cup. Thank you. She placed food beside my drawings. Eat. I can work or eat. You can do both. I'm not a machine. No. Machines follow maintenance rules. Despite myself, I smiled. It vanished when I saw Mara's name in an old sketch. She had once helped label every page carefully. She noticed my father's watch. It stopped. I tapped the glass. The second hand remained still. It was working this morning. Battery. Mechanical. Then repair it. My father gave it to me. That doesn't make it unrepairable. Something in me cracked. He wore it when he died. I said. Mara helped me through that year. She wasn't always like this. Elena sat across from me. You can miss who she was and still accept who she became. I don't know which version was real. Both. That doesn't help. Truth rarely comforts first. My phone rang from an unknown number. I answered. Hello. Jonah spoke quickly. I found the launch file's metadata. Elena leaned closer. What did it show? I asked. The file was exported from your private computer. My grip tightened around the phone. That proves theft. There's more. What? The transfer account belongs to someone connected to Cross. Damian? No. Jonah paused. The digital trail leads directly to Mara. Chapter 5. The truth she tried to bury. Jonah sent the records before sunrise. I opened them in Victor's office while rain traced lines down the window. The transfer log showed Mara's account accessing my computer at 1:14 a.m. 3 weeks earlier. Another record showed my digital signature attached to an authorization form I had never seen. Victor read over my shoulder. She forged this. I stared at my name. She knew my password. That does not make this legal. A deleted message appeared in the recovery file. Mara, I signed Ethan's approval. Stop delaying and remove his project code. Damian, relax. Once the money arrives, nobody will care. My phone rang. Nora. Ethan, she said. Mara is at my apartment. Why? She says you won't answer her. I blocked her for a reason. She looks terrible. That isn't evidence of innocence. Nora lowered her voice. She says Damian changed the design. Jonah found the theft. No, she means he changed the structure. I looked at Victor. Put her on. There was movement, then Mara breathed my name. Ethan, tell me what he changed. I need to see you. No, please. What did he change? The lower braces. He said your version cost too much. My chair scraped backward. How much did he remove? I don't know. You gave him engineering files without understanding them? I thought he would use the presentation only. You signed an authorization. Silence. Mara. He said investors needed proof you approved, so you forged my name. I planned to tell you. When? Before or after someone died. Her breath broke. I made a mistake. You keep calling choices mistakes. Damian pressured me. He did not move your hand across the signature pad. I know. Do you? Nora took the phone. Ethan, she wants to cooperate. Then she can speak to my lawyer. I don't have a lawyer, Mara said in the background. You should get one. I ended the call. Minutes later, another number appeared. Clara Quinn, Mara's mother. I almost ignored it. Ethan, Clara said, please don't destroy my daughter. I didn't forge my own signature. She was trying to help an old friend. She helped him steal work meant to keep families alive. She loves you. Then she has a dangerous way of showing it. You know she panics when people depend on her. I depended on her too. Clara went quiet. I was standing on the biggest stage of my life. I said. She left me alone and gave Damian the work that put me there. She can make this right. She can tell the truth. That could send her to prison. Yes. Clara's voice hardened. So this is revenge. I looked at the ruined homes outside. No. Revenge would be hiding the danger and letting Damian fail publicly. This is stopping people from getting hurt. Victor drove me back to the city that afternoon for a legal meeting. We used a private entrance, but Mara stood outside beneath the stone arch. She looked thinner. Her blue dress was gone, replaced by a gray coat too large for her. Ethan. I kept walking. Please stop. Victor murmured. Your choice. I stopped but did not turn. I'm sorry, Mara said. For which part? All of it. That answer is too easy. I was scared Damian would hurt himself. So you handed him my future. I thought I could save his company and still keep us. You thought I would absorb the damage. She stepped closer. I know how it sounds. You know how it was? I'll testify that the design is yours. And the signature? Her face drained. Inside the conference room, an attorney named Ms. Patel placed the forged authorization before me. To clear your name, she said, we must establish that you did not approve the transfer. That means proving Mara committed fraud. Yes, Victor asked. Is there another route? Not one that fully protects Ethan or the public. I stared through the glass wall. Mara waited in the corridor, twisting the ringless finger where my promise had once rested. Ms. Patel slid a statement toward me. Signing this begins the formal complaint. My hand hovered over the pen. I remembered Mara holding me after my father died. I remembered her sleeping beside my drafting table while I worked. I remembered every good moment asking me to protect her. Then I pictured Mrs. Alvarez clutching her letters beneath a broken roof. I signed. Ms. Patel covered my signature with her hand. Once filed, you cannot withdraw this to protect her. I understand. Do you? No, I admitted. But I understand what happens if I stay silent. She released the page. When I left, Mara followed me down the steps. Ethan, wait. I kept moving. Damian didn't just steal your design, she shouted. He changed something that could kill people. Chapter 6. when karma finally knocked. The investigation became public 2 days later. My phone filled with alerts before I finished breakfast. Cross-Urban Futures accused of design theft. Engineer's signature may have been forged. Horizon Medal winner under review. I read the third headline twice. A video began playing automatically. Damian stood behind a wall of microphones. I was deceived by someone I trusted, he said. Miss Quinn acted alone. A reporter shouted, "Why did your presentation contain Ethan Vale's private project code?" Damian stepped away without answering. Then Mara appeared outside the police station. Cameras surrounded her. "Did you steal the design? Were you protecting Damian Cross? Did Ethan know?" She covered her face and entered a waiting car. I closed the screen, but her frightened expression stayed with me afterward. Victor entered the site office. "Don't open the award committee's email alone." I already did. And they suspended the medal until ownership is confirmed. He pulled out a chair. "I'm sorry. I touched the empty place in my bag where the medal had been. Investigators had collected it the previous evening. I thought exposing them would clear me. Truth moves slower than scandal." Elena entered carrying rolled plans. Damian's board removed him. I looked up. Already, investors froze funding. His directors needed someone to blame. Jonah called on speaker. "Damian held a press conference," he said. "He claims Mara stole your work without his knowledge." "That's a lie," I said. "He also says she forged every approval." Victor frowned. "Convenient. What happened to Mara?" I asked before I could stop myself. Jonah hesitated. "Her employer fired her. Police questioned her this morning." Elena watched my face. "Does that make you happy?" "No. It was supposed to. I wanted the truth. You also wanted them to hurt." I stood. "Wouldn't you?" "Yes. But I wouldn't confuse their pain with my recovery." I left before she could say more. The first prototype stood at the edge of the muddy site, its frame open to the wind. I sat inside it while workers ate lunch elsewhere. Rain tapped against the temporary roof. I called Caleb. "You finally remembered me," he said. "I need help." "That sounds more like you." "I need every dated sketch, email, and test record from the last 4 years. I saved most of them." "Why?" "Because you trust people. I trust backups." I almost laughed. Caleb's voice softened. "How are you?" "My medal is suspended. Mara may go to prison. Damian is blaming everyone. I'm sitting inside half a house." "So, not great. I thought karma would feel cleaner." "Karma isn't a bath." "What does that mean?" "I don't know." It sounded wise. I leaned against a support beam. "Send the files." "I'll do better. I'm coming tomorrow." After the call, Elena appeared in the doorway. "I brought lunch." "I'm not hungry. You keep saying that as if starvation is a personality." She sat beside me and handed over a sandwich. "Tell me something," I said. "When does this start feeling like justice?" "When you stop checking whether Mara is suffering." "That's cold." "No. Measuring your healing by her pain keeps her in control." "She destroyed my name. Then rebuild it. Don't stand here watching hers burn." Her words followed me through the afternoon. Caleb arrived the next morning with 2 drives and a suitcase. He hugged me. "You look worse in person." "Everyone says that." "Maybe listen. We spent 3 days organizing sketches, emails, test videos, and photographs." Jonah published a timeline showing my work existed years before Damian's launch. At the prototype, Victor gathered the team. "We test at full wind pressure tomorrow," he said. Elena pointed at me. "And he sleeps tonight." "I can sleep after the test." "You can collapse before it." Caleb held up my phone. "There's an audio message from Mara." "Delete it." He studied me. "You should hear this one." I pressed play. Mara's voice filled the office. "I know apologies sound useless now. I need you to understand something. Even if you never forgive me, I did not choose Damian because I loved him. I chose him because he made me feel necessary. Every time he failed, I could rescue him. You never needed rescue. You needed honesty, and I was too weak to give it." The recording continued. "I kept thinking I could save him without losing you. I believed you would always be there. That belief became the cruelest thing I ever did." Caleb asked, "Does that change anything?" "It explains her." That isn't what I asked. No, it doesn't erase her choice. Victor's phone rang. He answered, listened, and went pale. What is it? I asked. The modified cross design was approved last month. Approved where? Belhaven, another coastal town. My stomach dropped. Victor met my eyes. Construction has already started. Chapter 7. She came looking for a ghost. For months passed before I saw Mara again. By then, Greyhaven's first 20 homes stood complete. The walls were plain, the roofs were strong, and Mrs. Alvarez had already chosen where her red letter box would sit. The morning inspection began beneath a clear sky. Elena handed me a checklist. Foundation anchors? Verified. Emergency supports? Verified. Emotional breakdown? Delayed until lunch. That's progress. Jonah approached with his camera bag. The committee reinstatement hearing is next week. I know. Are you nervous? I stopped answering that question. Mrs. Alvarez called from her porch. Ethan, my kitchen window is too small. You approved it. I was emotionally distressed. You argued for 40 minutes. I have recovered. I smiled and turned toward the road. Mara stood beyond the gate. For one foolish second, my heart recognized her before my mind did. She wore a simple black coat and held a brown envelope against her chest. No makeup hid the shadows beneath her eyes. Elena followed my stare. Do you want me to remove her? I don't know. Mara approached slowly. I won't stay long. You shouldn't be here. I brought something. Give it to my lawyer. She said you needed to decide whether to use it. She held out the envelope. Inside was a signed affidavit, printed messages, and a small black drive. I turned the drive between my fingers. If I use this, Damian will say you created it to save yourself. The files include dates and server records. Why keep them? At first, I wanted insurance against him. Later, I wanted a reason to contact you. That sounds more honest. It's ugly. Honesty often is. She looked through the window at the homes. I saw your interview, she said. You thanked everyone except me. You weren't part of this. I know. Hearing it still hurt. Now you understand an empty seat. Her eyes closed. Yes, she whispered. I finally do. What's on this? Damian's original instructions. He told me to remove your name, forge approval, and delete the access logs. Why didn't you give this to investigators before? I was afraid. You were already charged. I was afraid of admitting that I knew more than I said. Jonah stepped nearer. Does the drive contain his voice? Yes. I looked at Mara. What do you want in return? Nothing. You always want something. I wanted you to save me. Then I realized that would make this another betrayal. Elena asked, has your lawyer seen the affidavit? Mara nodded. It may reduce my sentence, but it will not erase it. I led Mara into the empty site office. Jonah and Elena remained outside. She looked around at the plans covering the walls. You rebuilt everything. Not everything. I deserve that. This isn't about what you deserve. Then what is it about? What was real? Her eyes filled. Us. Which part? The mornings. Your father's funeral. The apartment. The night you proposed. And Damian? My weakness. That's too simple. She sat across from me. He needed me. When his company struggled, he called me brilliant. When he panicked, only I could calm him. I felt powerful. And with me, you were steady. You solved problems before I could help. So I made you feel useless. You made me feel replaceable. I stared at her. I asked you to be my wife. I know. I trusted you with everything. I know. Then why wasn't that enough? Because love did not fix what was broken in me. The honesty hurt more than another excuse. She whispered, do you still love me? I love the woman I believed you were. Was she imaginary? No. She just wasn't the whole truth. Mara wiped her cheek. Could forgiveness ever mean another chance? Part of me remembered the blue dress, the empty chair, and the years before both. I may forgive you one day, I said, but I will never build my life on you again. She nodded as if I had struck her. I understand. No. You accept it. Understanding may take longer. She signed a second copy of the affidavit in front of Jonah. Then every phone on the site screamed with an emergency alert. Elena read hers. Severe coastal storm. Expected landfall tonight. The forecast said it would turn east, I said. It changed. Victor called. Move everyone into the completed homes. They're our safest shelters. Mara picked up her bag. I'll leave. The roads may close, Elena said. I can stay at the station. Jonah's phone rang. He answered, listened, and looked toward the gate. What? I asked. My source at Cross says Damian followed Mara here. Mara went pale. He knows about the drive. A black vehicle stopped outside the construction fence. The emergency sirens began. Jonah lowered his voice. Damian just entered the site. Chapter 8. The night everything broke. Wind tore across the site before the first families reached shelter. Elena, take everyone to houses 1 through 10, I shouted. Victor knows the capacity. What about you? I'll secure the office files. Mara gripped the black drive. I'll help. No. Go with Elena. A voice came from behind the steel frames. She isn't going anywhere. Damian stepped into the open, soaked by the rain. His expensive coat hung heavily from his shoulders, and anger had stripped away his polished smile. Jonah raised his camera. Damian pointed at him. Turn that off. No. Damian looked at Mara. Give me the drive. She moved closer to me. Leave. You destroyed my company. You did that yourself. I gave you everything. You used me. I trusted you. I laughed bitterly. Interesting word. Damian's eyes shifted toward me. This is between Mara and me. You made it my business when you stole my design. I improved your design. You removed the supports. I reduced unnecessary costs. You created a death trap. Thunder shook the unfinished structures. Elena called from across the site. Ethan, water is crossing the west road. Get inside. Damian lunged for the drive. Mara pulled back. I caught his arm, and we crashed against a storage door. Run! I shouted. Damian struck my ribs with his elbow. I lost my grip. He shoved me inside the storage building, slammed the metal door, and dropped the outside bar into place. Mara, I hit the door. Get to shelter. Through the thin wall. Damian shouted, give it to me, or he stays there. Water rushed beneath the door around my boots. Mara's voice shook. Let him out. The drive. You'll leave afterward? Yes. Like you credited Ethan afterward? Silence followed. I struck the door again. Don't trade it. The water climbed to my ankles. Damian yelled, you owe me. No, Mara answered. I ruined my life believing that. A metallic crash hit the door. Then another. I stepped back as the center bent inward. What are you doing? Damian shouted, choosing correctly for once. The lock broke. Mara pulled the door open with a steel bar in her hands. Can you walk? She asked. Yes. Damian grabbed her from behind. The drive fell into the water. Jonah ran forward, but Damian pushed him into a stack of boards. I tackled Damian. We rolled through the mud while the wind screamed around us. Everything was fine before you filed that complaint, he shouted. Your buildings could kill people. They weren't built yet. You sold them anyway. He froze. Mara held up her phone. Say it again. A red light showed she was broadcasting. Damian stared at her. Turn that off. Jonah has the recording. You stupid. A section of the temporary walkway tore loose above us. Elena, I shouted. She pointed toward the shelters. Move now. We ran across the raised path as floodwaters swallowed the lower site. Damian slipped near the final platform. The railing broke beneath his weight. He caught the edge with both hands. Ethan, he screamed. Mara stopped. Leave him. For 1 second I wanted to. I saw my stolen work, my suspended medal, Mara's empty seat, and every lie Damian had told. Then I saw the person I would become if I watched him fall. I dropped to my knees and caught his wrist. Help me, I shouted. Mara grabbed my belt while Jonah seized my shoulder. Together, we pulled Damian onto the platform. He coughed and stared at me. Why? Because I won't let you design me too. Police officers reached us near the shelters. Jonah gave them the live recording. Damian tried to run, but 2 officers forced him to the ground. An officer pulled me aside. Did he imprison you? Yes. Did he threaten Ms. Quinn? Yes. Damian shouted. They set me up. Mara faced him. Nobody forced you to follow me. Nobody forced you to steal. Nobody forced you to cut those supports. You signed the papers, and I will answer for that." For the first time, Damian had no reply. The officer secured his wrists. "Save the rest for questioning." Damian looked at me, but I saw no power left in him now. Inside House 3, families crowded together while the storm struck with full force. The walls groaned, yet every brace held. Mrs. Alvarez gripped my hand. "Your house is stubborn. So are you." By morning, older buildings across Greyhaven had lost roofs. Our 20 homes remained standing. At the emergency clinic, a doctor wrapped my ribs. Mara sat beside the doorway with a cut above her eye. My father's watch lay on the table. Its cracked second hand suddenly moved. Tick, tick, tick. Then it stopped again. Mara saw it. "Maybe he's telling you something. Maybe it needs repair." She almost smiled. "I came back for us," she whispered. I fastened the broken watch around my wrist. "I came back for myself." Her face folded, but she did not argue. I walked past her and opened the clinic door. Behind me, Mara said my name once. I did not look back. Chapter 9. Gone forever, but not lost. 6 months later, I stood behind the curtain of Greyhaven's rebuilt community center with the Horizon Medal in my hand. The committee had returned it that morning. Victor adjusted my collar. "You're making that face again." "What face?" "The one that says you would rather inspect concrete." "I would." Caleb appeared with Nora beside him. "Too late. There are cameras." Nora hugged me. "Dad would be proud." I looked at his repaired watch on my wrist. "I hope so." Elena entered holding the event schedule. 3 minutes. Caleb smiled at her. "You sound nervous." "I'm managing nervous people." "She means Ethan," Nora said. "I always mean Ethan." The warmth between us felt easy. No promises. No rescue. Just honesty. Jonah pushed through the curtain. Damian accepted the plea agreement. "How long?" I asked. 8 years for fraud, theft, reckless endangerment, and unlawful confinement. And Mara? Reduced sentence. Community service, professional suspension, and 2 years under supervision. Her testimony mattered. I nodded. Jonah studied me. "That's all. What should I do?" "Smile. Cry. Deliver a speech about karma." I'm tired of building speeches around them. The host announced my name. I walked onto the stage. This time, every seat in the front row was filled. Victor, Caleb, Nora, Elena, Jonah, and Mrs. Alvarez stood together. Then I saw Mara in the last row. She wore no blue dress. She did not wave or ask me to notice her. She simply stood and applauded. Mrs. Alvarez later told me Mara had arrived an hour early and helped arrange chairs. She had asked for nothing, not even permission to speak with me. "Does that matter?" Nora asked quietly. "It means she may be changing. Does that matter?" I understood the real question. "Yes," I said. "But it does not mean I must return." Nora squeezed my shoulder. Good. I was preparing a very long lecture. Again. The committee chair placed the medal around my neck. "Mr. Vale, Greyhaven has approved 200 additional homes based on your design. What does this recognition mean to you now?" I looked at the families gathered beneath the roof we had rebuilt. "It means a design belongs to more than the person who draws it," I said. "It belongs to the people trusting it with their lives." The room quieted. I once believed strength meant staying. I thought loyalty meant enduring every wound without complaint. I was wrong. A strong foundation does not accept every weight. It carries what belongs and refuses what will destroy it. Mrs. Alvarez shouted. "And it needs a large kitchen window." Laughter filled the hall. I smiled. That too. After the ceremony, Mara waited near the empty courtyard. "You were good up there," she said. "Thank you." I almost sat in front. "Why didn't you?" "That seat belongs to people who showed up." The answer surprised me. She looked at the medal. "I'm glad they returned it." "So am I." "Do you ever think about the future we planned?" I could have lied. "Sometimes." "Me too. But I remember it like an old house," I said. "I know the rooms. I know where everything stood. I just don't live there anymore." Tears gathered in her eyes. "Do you hate me?" "No." "Have you forgiven me?" "I forgive the person you were." The person you become is your responsibility. She pressed her lips together. Is there truly no road back? There may be a road forward for both of us. It just isn't the same road. She nodded slowly. I kept your letter, she said. I meant every word. I know. You didn't leave in one night. I watched you go for years and kept assuming you would return. For once, I had nothing to add. Mara stepped away. Goodbye, Ethan. Goodbye, Mara. Outside, the others waited beneath a clear evening sky. Mrs. Alvarez took my arm. You owe me dinner. Why? My house survived your test. That makes me an investor. Caleb laughed. Nora linked her arm through mine. Victor pointed toward the new neighborhood glowing beyond the road. Elena walked beside me. Where next? I checked my father's watch. The second hand moved steadily. Forward, I said. Behind us, Mara remained in the courtyard. I did not need to turn around to know she was watching. The man who had waited for her was gone forever. I was not empty. I was free. She skipped the biggest moment of my life, but losing her taught me to stop skipping my own.